let me just give it over to Mhad as introduced. That's our registered counselor. Over to you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I won't call it an honor, not yet. Let's wait 10 years and then maybe we'll call it an honor. But what structure, eh? When we talk about structure, you know, leisure happily busy. Organization is very important, right? So thank you for that. But going with the theme of universal, I'm going to try by all means what everything I say is what we all experience. Universal, uniform, we can slash it out. As many words we can put in, right? And because I hate something, today I want you to hate it as well. I hate the word illness. I don't like it. So fella for fanda, can we just be uniform in my feelings of hate? Very strong, but I stand by it, right? Let us consider ourselves as patients today. All of us, in all your disorganization or some of us organizations, the way we are, let us consider ourselves as patients. As introduced, my name is Kgatelopele Wellness. I'm a registered psychological counselor. And what I thrive in is preventative work. I hate illness, it means that I shy away from treatment. Don't like it. Meds, trying to fix, that's not my fault. I'm not saying I'm bad at it, but it's really not my fault. But when we talk about prevention, we're talking about go tshabela go fitlha boo, to the point of treatment, to the point of meds and all of that. And when we are in such institutions, we just take the word mental and we make it uniform. It's not that simple. Mental illness, mental health. Illness we might not have, it's not uniform. But health, it means that we all have the capabilities to prevent anything that could hinder with our lives, no matter which area. So before I start, I hope my deepness will only last 30 minutes. Let's become structured. Let's declutter. Okay? And I'm not talking about the mind. Let's declutter our spaces. For some of us here, we might be uncomfortable with the load we have. I see there's a lot. You know, but paper towels, we've got wigs, we've got balloons clustered. So let's take 5 minutes to declutter our spaces. It'll reflect why we're decluttering at the end of the session. So 5 minutes, declutter. When I talk about declutter, I'm not only talking about space. You can declutter in your own way. Yeah? It can be space, move a little if you feel that you need to move a little. Take off if you feel that you need to. I get up just if you feel that there's a load, let's dedicate us 5 minutes to just taking it off. Removing it temporarily. Whatever is heavy. Whatever is kind of no, but then it is again. As long as it's a bigger than so let's just declutter. Take a moment. If you feel like decluttering means silence and thinking about certain things and just decluttering them. Being aware of what I need to let go, do that. I'll keep quiet now for 5 minutes.
The definition of the word declutter means to remove unnecessary items from or an overcrowded place. In the mental space, that would be thoughts that continue to cluster or fluster your mind on a repetitive scale without any sense of direction. There is a lot that goes into one's mental thoughts, which actually affects your physical attributes to compensate the entire trinity, which is governed by the soul included. A cohesive thought process can actually benefit not only you but those around you, therefore limiting any sense of stress.
Perception is very important. There's nothing wrong with the environment. Nothing at all. We might all go through the same thing. Relationship problems, occupational stresses. Everything is the same because we live in one universe. You can't tell me one stressor is better than the other or it's more effective than the other. What you're experiencing now could be happening somewhere across the world. So our social circumstances are not the problem, but how do we perceive them? How do we internalize them? So that's where the mental part comes in, rationalizing it. Sometimes when your narration is straight and you get to a point where you feel some type of way, you'll be able to explain it. Where does it come from? Who inflicted that feeling? But disorganization and clutter makes the situation even more worse than it is. Because if you can't explain it, you don't know the source of it, and eventually you won't know how you feel about it. Because from sadness, pain, anger, all of those are feelings, right? Let's take loss, for example. It happens to all of us. But you wonder why the next person does not react the same way you do. But in hindsight, they do. The reaction is different. So during that process of grieving or loss, there is somebody that's going to make you smile. But then rationalization, I can't smile. So hence there are so many feelings, and some of them could be disorganized. You can feel kindness in a state of fear. You can feel joy in a state of sadness. It's normal fluctuation. But disorder, not disorientation, disorder comes from a point where everything is just straight, meaning feeling. Even in a point of excitement, I feel down. Even loud 31, I'm so down. So feelings are not supposed to be narrow, but the narration of it is supposed to be narrow. It's the 31st, I'm celebrating, I feel happy. So what we see is the feeling. I will react to how I feel. I won't react to what is happening. Do we get it? Yeah. You see the straight line? So what is happening is not important. The importance is that you don't get that feeling, get that clutter, that heaviness of how I feel. It overwhelms you sometimes it overwhelms the people around you. So prolonging of this certain feeling, that's when we talk about illness. Situation, rationalization, we say mental health. This feeling, more than 2 weeks, same feeling, disorder. So what we need to learn is how we perceive situations, not how to resolve them. Yes, we need advice, I guess. How do I deal with this? How do I got social workers? They work with your relationships, your social circumstances, the social environment, whatever is happening around you. But you are responsible to what you think, how you see, and how you perceive it. Are we good? Mental health, mental illness, spectrum. You don't just jump out of bed and then illness. I'm not taking away jobs. Please do visit your therapist. Please. But at the end of the day, we all have the strength of mental health because we have the capability to reconcile any disorganized narrative that is going on around you. Organize it. Just like we organize our spaces, you are needy guy, white tops, vests, and all of it. You know when I need something and I'm in a rush, it's unexpected, I know where to find certain things. So I won't feel overwhelmed. Organization. Hence I said let's declutter. So I'm assuming that everybody's comfortable with their state right now. I want to put this true right inside. You know, ladies. Wow. Are you guys comfortable? Sorry, gentlemen. You will get it one day. That hinge is going to get your mind off a lot of things that you need to concentrate on. So the tiny little pinches in your life, those are unexpected circumstances. How you perceive them? Somebody who can perceive them well would just extend it. Somebody who cannot and needs assistance will just be so it's like that is dysfunction. You're not functioning well in a social circumstance. I'm going to give us another chance. Declutter. Now you know. 2 minutes I can use. Let us declutter. Hey, don't tell me your feelings, they'll be in the count. Don't tell me what's going on. If it's still internal, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But you know now that you're working on a spectrum, and that is the human spectrum. That is all your psyche. Mental, emotional, physical reaction. It doesn't just start that reaction. Right? Declutter. I'm sure better to choose. The wigs. Sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go further, but I'll open the floor for questions. The purpose was just to differentiate between mental health and mental illness. Don't be your first enemy by diagnosing yourself with an illness. You're not a patient. Yeah, you're not a patient. You're a client. A client to yourself, a responsibility to your own. Any questions? A crowd is quiet today. And I think it's your discipline. I'll let you don't have questions, you okay?
Do I have a question? Like, in our society, how do you assist someone to not feel ostracized after they've been like diagnosed with something? Like when someone comes and tells you, hey, I got diagnosed with this last week, like how do you help them to not feel ostracized in society? Because not everyone knows they're diagnosed by these people.
Normalization. What is help? How do you define help?
Assistance.
Break that down. Synonyms, you're using synonyms. It's your own definition, there's no right or wrong.
I'd say help and support, it can come in different form, but it's support to help you achieve a certain goal. That's like how someone helps.
So would that be a goal set by you or this individual?
Most likely by them.
Did they communicate it with you?
If they say like, I've been diagnosed and I'm afraid to tell people because I'll be judged. Yeah, like how do you support them?
What is the goal in that?
They want to share their diagnosis with their
So
close.
that makes it easy. You don't need to crack your brain over it. They need support, and support for them means making people aware of their diagnosis. It means they're disclosing they want help in disclosing. Nothing wrong, you can just do pamphlets. Hey, Kafiso is diagnosed with. He gave you permission. I mean, he's the one that said, I need help for people to know that I'm diagnosed. It's risky, ne? It's risky, but remember now, this individual, hence I asked the question now, whose goal is it? Who wants to achieve it? Do I judge Kahiso because he wants to disclose that he's schizophrenic? If he wants to create a Facebook page and say, Kahiso the schizophrenic, who are you? That makes it easier if he tells you what exactly he needs. Help is vague. Break it down. Ask him how to help. What are you talking about? Are you saying that I should take a bicycle every morning and ride you around the community? I can do that. Break it down. But in terms of normalizing, we have this fear, we need to do something. Why panic if it's not yours? So when you normalize, why should your daily routine change? If you visit Kahiso on a daily basis, catch a movie, eat popcorn, that's what you need to continue to do. Because if he had a problem with it, he would have separated himself from you. So sometimes non-verbal communication is communication. Change of habit, change of behavior tells you there's a problem. But if he's just saying it to disclose it, what flavor of popcorn do you want? Okay, you told me, sharp. Next, what do we usually do? So let's normalize normalizing situations. Don't catastrophize. Don't make an issue where there is no issue until somebody tells you that there's an issue. So if you come up with something and they didn't say they wanted, you're just assuming that this is the goal I want for him, it'll be kind of like discriminating in a way. Inflicting something onto me, projecting something onto me that I didn't want. You don't, how many times parents have heard this? From our children, right? Teenagers. So listening, normalizing, daily routine is functional. Yes, ma'am.
If someone comes here in Kgatelopele and represents as being abused, how can you classify it? Is it mental illness or mental health?
Somebody comes to an institution and say that they've been abused. Yeah. How do we classify it as an illness or health? Okay, now I get you. Sometimes you need to repeat it, especially you. So the dysfunction in their behavior. Change is scary. Although it's important, it's scary. When their life changes, remember I said if it hinders with your day-to-day life, it is a problem. So 3 criteria for disorder is that it's not normal in the community that you're around. So if you collect more but now I find myself now all of a sudden I drink about 10 bottles. It's not normal. It's not normal to that community. Number 2, if there are other areas in their life that are being hindered, they can't cope at work, personal life is disrupted now, relationships are disrupted, and then lastly, if it goes on for far too long. So you look out for criteria like that. Change in behavior, especially behavior that's not normal. Start doing things that are not normal. So you look out for that. When there are those criteria that are met, you can say that it's an illness. But if they're complaining but still can push and go to work, they want to get through it, then we can still work on them because it's health. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope today was very fruitful. I also got my exercise in at 5 in the morning. So more exercise to push through. I hope you enjoy your day further. Remember, Kgatelopele Wellness, and thank you so much for the invite.
In my head, I should be ahead. I didn't call over, I didn't call over. Voices in my head, I should be ahead. I didn't call over, I didn't call over.